I continue. Tell us about some of the sponsorship opportunities, kind of a general overview.
Okay, so pop the slide. So you're recording, so I have to talk into this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the keynotes. Usually each of our programs has a featured keynote speaker. So whether it's 1 day or 2 days of a keynote, so a company can, own that exposure to the audience, and then you're linking yourself to that speaker or topic. Some companies say, well, it doesn't align with what we do, and my view is it something that people want to hear? And if you want to associate yourself with bringing people a message that they want to hear more about, that's just as good as having it align with what you do, right? What your business does, your technology or your programs, whatever. So we offer those things as an option for further exposure. And all of these offerings, it's any size budget. So you say, I don't have any money. You can do a lot with a little. So you can always scale what you do when it comes to sponsorship, because it's visibility, awareness, or aligning yourself with some kind of a thought leader in the industry. So there's everything that you can think of, and it doesn't always have to take a lot of money. So that's a big thing to know. So the next. So for companies that might have an exhibit space, but they want to be recognized as I'd say like a technology leader, or a thought leader, and this is the Smart Manufacturing Hub is a way to do that. Some people, they might choose to just be in the hub instead of having an exhibit space, and so this is a turnkey operation where you've got I'd say a kiosk that you can brand as your own. We do all the work, so you pay and you show up and it's done, and it's a scheduled speaking opportunity. Depending on how many participants there are, depends on how frequent the schedule rotates, but they're dedicated times that you can promote, and we assist with promotion of all that. There is well, I think it's nice because there's usually a half a dozen companies that surround that theater that you see in there, and then it's a dedicated area. So it's a scheduled presentation. You have a place to interact with customers after the presentation and prior to the presentation. And it's just like a turnkey exhibit or an extension of your exhibit if you already have like a larger space. But if you just want to drop in, have an easy go at it, have everything kind of turnkey, and an opportunity to present publicly, that could be an option for you, right? And the next slide. Custom speaking opportunities. This is where the sponsorship team would work with you in aligning corporate goals to whatever kind of a content that you would want to provide. So it either can be a speaker that you bring to us and say we want to promote this and get exposure to it and link ourselves, or we might have speakers that you'd say, well, I'm interested in aligning our company to that person, so we want to do something custom with you, and we can always create an opportunity to provide exposure for that. They've done a couple different things. You can do lunch and learns where you have someone from your company come in and be the voice of the technology, right? And they'll feed them lunch, and it's a custom 1 hour presentation. We can also do brew and views, which are more casual, where everybody just kicks back, has a beer, listens to a speaker. So there's a lot of different opportunities, and those are custom, and a sponsorship rep could talk to you about that. So next. They're custom and scalable, right? So we get back into what's your budget like? What do you really want to do? Hosting and networking function. These are the things that are kind of in place with the event already as part of the event structure, and you can either promote an element of that reception. So like we were at Porsche Experience Center on Tuesday night, and we took everybody there, exhibitors and conference attendees, and then we offered, they have some drive simulators. We offered a company to have that opportunity to, collect leads and own that area, right? We also had the big gallery. We offered someone another opportunity to have more brand exposure and kind of own the night, right? So there's a lot of potential, and it all kind of depends on what happens after you talk to somebody, right? So you have a discussion and you figure out, well, what really aligns with what your goals are, right? So after that, we
Yeah,
have the
and we'll
next slide.
mention some of these hospitalities and receptions that we're going to be having during the operations portion.
Right. So then we come back down to the kind of the basics, right? This is the stuff that you learn in marketing: branding, signage, availability or visibility and awareness. So that comes down to when you come in, just like here, there's plenty of points within the building where you can put banners, you can do the escalator wraps, you can do lanyards. There's all kinds of visibility awareness and other types of things that bring your company to the forefront within people walking through the space. So I think the other thing that you want to think about too, well, you were already on the next one, but the mobile app, a lot of things are changing. And so as I was sitting here listening to this go on, I was thinking, well, a lot has changed over like 20 years, right? So you've got, I think one person raised their hand when they said social media, right? So if you're thinking about that, like, it's real, it's coming, the generations are changing, and just how they want to receive information or be persuaded or spend their time, you have to kind of hit them on all different fronts. And the person who might be taking over the decision making at a company, it's a generational thing, right? They might want to find their information a different way. They might trust someone based on what they see in the place that they go to look for information. So you got to think about that. Wi-Fi, it's a buyout. You can do that. Social media lounge. There's some other on-site things that provide just more exposure. But I think the app, depending on the uptake, how many people go to use the app, it's really become more expected versus the directory. They're kind of equal right now. It used to be all print and paper, and then we started doing an app, and by market segment, you can look at the traditional attendee for WESTEC versus like a Rapid or Aerodef. They're all starting to change, and they're all adopting the app because it's so much easier. I use mine all the time. I never pick up a magazine anymore.
Well, not only that, but it's also the most current. So,
Right.
we have to print a directory weeks in advance to get it here on time, to have it around for everyone to pick up. But the mobile app is always current. We're always updating it. And even on site, if a speaker changes or a
Right.
location changes, it's easy to go ahead and do that. So being associated with that, with the tool that people have in their pocket with them all the time, is a nice extra opportunity for you.
So the app is also, it provides you either a splash page. You can go big, you can go small. Again, it's a scalable investment thing, right? And I think in a nutshell, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's just how you want to spend it. I look at tackling an event versus buying a space. And so when you strategize on how you're going to participate, it's kind of like, well, we want to have an exhibit. We want to participate somehow speaking maybe. We want to have some visibility. And so if I have a budget, I look at how do I spread my budget around so I can get the best out of an event versus I only buy space, we come, we exhibit, and we leave. Because then you only get what you get. But I look at always conquering the event for the full spectrum versus kind of what we're used to and comfortable with, maybe reevaluate, and then kind of, have a budget, have an expectation, and then we're always able to work something out. So that's all I have.
Great, thanks, Dave.
Just one last thing about the sponsorship area. Nick Smith is the one who heads up the sponsorship along with Roger and Marcus. And I come from the events background. I've been at many for-profit groups, and I gotta say, just very impressed with how they do their sponsorship here. We were always about, at the other companies, get the gold package, do this, do whatever, and it was very, let's say, vanilla. I think what they do is more a consultative approach, what can you handle, what can you do, and they really do try and provide an experience more than just a banner. So that's one thing that I gotta say, I learned a lot from them, coming here, when I thought I knew a fair amount, but they really, they tack a lot of their sponsorships towards experience. And really, as we all know, that experiential, hooks your name with that event or what have you, and it works out very well.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, our sponsorship guys also work exhibits and media together. So they're able to create packages that align with the media opportunities, the magazine, so whether it's manufacturing engineering or smart manufacturing or our digital products. And they're able to craft deals that include guaranteed lead gen. So that's something that's important. If they can say, well, we can do this, we can guarantee you 30 leads, we can guarantee you 60 leads. So that's something to bring up in a conversation with them as well.